Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Reiki Skills Lodge. We are talking about self-healing today. Um, and it's one of the first things we get taught to do when we do Reiki. We start learning it at Reiki 1. It's one of the things that we probably use it for the most. And I have gone through phases where I'm sort of very regimented with my self-healing, and I've definitely gone through phases where I've needed to change it or add to it or even lessen it depending on what's going on in my life. And I talked a lot around that sort of adaptability. So when I send out this recording, I will also send the link to, I think it was called Approaches to Self-Practice, which was from a couple of months ago. Where we talked about how to make sure that we weren't overstretching ourselves or when we needed to make changes in our general Reiki practice. So I don't want to sort of go over things that I've already done a lot of things on, but I'll be touching on that in today's one. But I'm focusing mostly today on ways to simplify it and ways to just add a little bit of ease in our self-healing practice, particularly for the times when we really need things to be easier. So I will start, as I often do, with some of the glorious things that were sent in on the forms. I asked people what the regular self-healing practice was, and it was actually, a lot of it was really impressive. A lot of you guys are doing more than I am. So somebody said they're doing a weekly healing through shamanic journeying and 4 or 5 times a week in meditation. Someone said Hatsure, symbol meditation, self-healing meditation at least once daily, at least. Hatsure, usually considered more of a meditation, but I agree, it's really healing. It's really, really good for us, and that's in my daily routine practice. And what I find is if I ever skip doing Hatsure, I feel really tired. I get like an afternoon crash because I haven't done it. So it's definitely doing something really healing as well. Meditating in the evenings and before sleep. In the morning, grounding, energy cleanse and release, connection to source with a golden cord, and 20 minutes of gasho before bed. This is really sweet. Your gasho, just sitting in hands in prayer position. 20 minutes is how long we're supposed to do that for. And in one of my many experimental phases, I did that for 20 minutes a day, just to sit quietly like this. It does develop the sensitivity in our hands, so it's really good for us as healers, but it's a nice practice of stillness, which can be very healing as well. Hatsure and the Uzui self-treatment, that's the one that I refer to as the Binzuru self-treatment, where you visualize yourself making different hand positions, one here, one here, one here, one at the back of the head, and one here. It's excellent. And it is the one that I use. My rule on self-healing is that any day that I do healing for someone else, I have to do a healing for myself, and that Uzui self-treatment is what I use. Just before sleep in bed every day, and then also extra healing sessions if they're needed. Basic hand positions routine and sound healing. So like a Western approach to self-healing, where, you know, you're having your hands on your body, hands on the head. A bit more sort of grounding, I suppose, a bit more of a technique. I use a cheap version of this where I have one hand on my heart center, one hand on my solar plexus, which is like a really simplified version. If I'm just tired or low energy, need some healing for myself, that's a really good one to do. So there's loads of really good ones in here, and some very impressive routines. But there were also a lot of people who said not enough, I need consistency, I don't have a regular practice, I forget, those kinds of things were also in there. So sometimes we go through periods of our life where it's quite hard to hold on to that routine and make it work. I also asked, when does it get tricky? And what people said was, on difficult days, when I feel I have no resilience, during emotional or overwhelming times, during a period of grief, overwhelm. Several people said when I'm overwhelmed, actually. Burnout, that came up twice. Stress came up a couple of times as well. A couple of people said sometimes, someone said unable to connect to source sometimes, and someone else said sometimes I feel blocked to do anything. So it's quite similar. And someone gave a very specific example in terms of daily routine. When they have evening clients, it feels like, I guess because it's late in the day, you have your setup time that you do for your clients, then you do this, and then you talk to the client, then you do the treatment, then you talk to the client, and then you sort of have the close down routine. Everyone's got their own ones where you're smudging or, whatever. And by the time that's all done, if we're seeing people in the evenings, and I find particularly people that are working as healers, like on the side of a regular job, or if their primary sort of client base have regular jobs, that's quite often when we work. So it can feel, if we're working late at night, to then do a self-treatment afterwards to replenish ourselves can feel like too much. I've actually heard that a lot over the years. What I would recommend on those days is doing a treatment on yourself beforehand, so that you've kind of covered the bulk of what you feel you need on a healing day. And then you've only got just like a little simple connection to source or something to do afterwards. And then someone, and I will name her, she is not on the live, but I hope you don't mind me naming you, Anita, said, sometimes I have to remind myself that simplicity is key. Standing on the earth and breathing is enough. This is very wise, Anita. Thank you for that, because that is something that we, despite how simple Reiki is as a system and how we talk about how easy it is for things to just flow, what we sometimes say is, oh, I've got to do a whole self-treatment. And maybe your favorite self-treatment meditation is like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And when we're in that overwhelm place, you feel like, oh no, I've got to get in the headspace to do it, and you can't even find that. So that reminder from Anita about, just this one simple thing is enough. That's such a great reminder for all of us. And what we have to do is remember that there are things we can do that will reset our energy and make ourselves feel better, make us feel, why are we doing self-healing? Sometimes it's to release energy. Sometimes it's just to restore our energy, or to feel like we're taking a moment for ourselves, and that we're worth that and we're getting that. There's loads of ways to do that. I believe in a Reiki self-treatment. It's a great thing to have, but there are other things that let us do that as well. So if you can go and stand, if you have a garden and you can stand on the ground and just feel yourself connected to the land, that is a really simple thing to do. It doesn't demand a lot of things from you. If there's a nearby nice little, a woodland or a park or something like that where you can just go for a walk, that can be a healing thing. One of mine that I do is, sometimes I just go, oh, I just really need to boost my energy, is I'll just put on some music and just sing along, and singing completely transforms my energy. But it's simple. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to tune into anything. I don't even really have to remember the lyrics. I can sing whatever I like, really. And I don't have to sing well or do anything, it's the thing, or sitting and playing your drum, all these little things, taking a bath, you know, all kinds of like nice little things that we can do for ourselves. It's a really good reminder. So, inspired by Anita saying that, I thought it would be nice for us to have a little drum journey to ask the question, what's the small thing that you can do that nourishes yourself or transforms your energy? And it should be something simple, like if like sitting down to eat your favorite meal is really nourishing for you, but it's going to take you an hour to cook it, this is not the answer. I'm going to give us something that you can reach for and just take for yourself really simply. It could be just counting a couple of breaths. It could be just placing your hand on your heart and just reciting a little affirmation. It could be standing on the land, going for a walk, singing a song, putting some music on and having a little dance. That's not one of mine, but I am a terrible dancer. But if that's a thing that brings you joy and it shakes out the energy for you, like that could be it. Something really, really simple. And so I'm going to guide us through a little Reiki drum journey to ask that question. And maybe something will come to your mind as like knowledge during the drumming. Or maybe you'll see something or feel something in your body. It comes through differently for different people. But what I will also say is it doesn't always come through immediately, especially if you're watching the recording or if anyone on the call today is feeling a bit tired or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't come through immediately. This is a Reiki drum, so you will be receiving some Reiki while we're doing it. So there's no wasted time here. And what it will also do is put that question out into the universe, because it's been asked from a place of, it's almost like a prayer of intention for your healing. So if the answer doesn't come through, maybe you'll wake up in the morning and just know it. Maybe you'll sit down to journal later or tomorrow and it will come up. Or yeah, we've put the question out there, so it will come. Does this all make sense, guys? I am gonna talk you through walking across a bridge to find the answer, and I'll be drumming the energy to help you do that too. So make yourselves comfortable. You can do this sitting up if you're comfortable that way, but you can lie down if there's somewhere close by where you can still hear me. You don't need to be able to see me. I'm just taking a moment to put a circle of healing around all of us, not just those of us that are in this live, but anybody who will undertake this journey in the future. Take a couple of deep breaths and call that intention into your mind. What's something simple and accessible that you could do that's perfect for you to receive a little bit of healing, a little bit of restoration without effort? What's something that's perfect for you to do this in those moments where simplicity is key? Visualize yourself standing in a place in nature. Notice what time of day, what season of the year it is. Notice the nature that surrounds you in that place. to a bridge and take yourself over to that bridge. You may not be able to see all the way to the other side of that bridge, but know in your heart and in your body that the answer to your question is on the other side. What is a simple thing that you can do to restore yourself, to feel supported and healed and nourished? Walk across that bridge. Walk across that bridge. And when you get to the other side, the answer will be revealed that place. And then with your breath, bring your attention back to your body. Feel yourself breathing in and out. Allow that space in nature, the space of your memory or creation, to dissolve and fade away. Feel yourself present in your physical space and in your physical body. Wiggling your toes and your fingers, breathing deeply, feel yourself back in the room, back in your body with that answer. Breathing yourself fully back. Making sure you feel really grounded. Sometimes it helps to just press on your shoulders, your arms. Give yourself a little squeeze, bring yourself back. And for those of you who don't have your cameras on, give me a little thumbs up to let me know you're awake and all right. Thank you very much. Just checking in on you guys. Ah, lovely. Simple little journey to construct a bridge between you and the answer, and then just walk across it and find it. No need to share if it's private, but if anyone does want to share, let me know, or drop it into the chat, and let me know what you got, if anything was helpful. I'll give you guys a second for typing in case you are. But a note for everybody. I just breathed in some sage. A note for everybody, when you do these journeys, sometimes it's a bit symbolic, sometimes it's really clear, which is really useful. But sometimes it is a bit symbolic, or sometimes you don't get an exact answer. But as I say, it might be revealed later and it will suddenly come to you. But when we do those kind of journeys with the drum, when we're channeling Reiki, there's a flow of Reiki that's coming out for everybody. So it's a little bonus healing, even if you didn't get your answer immediately. Right, so no, oh, there we go. Some sharings. Let me have a look. Wow, what? I'm going to read this if this is all right. Sorry, I presume that you're happy for me to read this as you put it in here. Yes, thank you. I found a bench with a small basket on it, and inside the basket was a red cloth with white spots. That sounds very fairy tale. I like this. Containing beetles. I love searching for insects and I love them, so perhaps that's my healing. That's interesting that it's something that corresponds with like a little love of nature that you have. How would that be accessible to you in the moment? I don't know. To go out walking in nature, perhaps. I don't know what your location is, whether there's something that's local to you for that. But yeah, that's a strange one. Like I say, sometimes it is symbolic, but I love this fact that it does pertain to the fact that you love searching for insects. So like just a reminder of like those little things. Presumably that is also something you did when you were a kid as well, and sometimes those little things really speak to us to go and see that there's, you know, something that our child self likes that we can go and do as an adult that will make us like reconnect with a part of ourselves. I always find that a fly comes to me when I need it. I didn't know you were the insect whisperer. This is great. This is great. There's also just my shamanic mind taking over as well. The fact that you love searching for beetles and insects and stuff means that it really could just be a straightforward answer rather than a symbolic one. But it may be looking at like the symbolism of, I don't know if you've ever looked at like power animal symbolism and things like that, Zoe, but there are sort of meanings and lore, particularly with beetles, but all insects. There is meaning in those things as well, which is quite fun to have a little read about. What a sweet little thing. I'm obsessed with the basket with the red and white thing. That makes me think of like Little Red Riding Hood or something. It's like a very fairy tale kind of thing. And I hope that you guys found some good answers or some interesting answers that you can ponder on as well. But take inspiration as well from these other things, going and standing on the land, going for a walk, singing, dancing, going for a run, all those sorts of things. It doesn't have to be sitting down to do some kind of big healing thing. It can be just us doing something that's just for us, something very, very simple. So I want to talk about simplifying our healing techniques. We can't necessarily all go out roaming in the woods, hunting for insects and things, or bird spotting. That's a middle-aged thing that's happened to me, guys, going out to, there's a nature reserve near here where I've got binoculars. I don't know when this happened. It's really calming to just go and look at those things. But sometimes we are just at home, or we're maybe not in our own space. Maybe we, the option, maybe it's late at night, maybe the option for us to go and be outside doing something that gives us that change of scenery isn't available. So I want us to think about ways that we can kind of cheat and make things easier for us to access healing when we need it. One of the ways, I think I talked about this in the last Reiki Skills Lodge, one of the ways that I like to cheat, I have several cheating ways. One of them is that I make bath salts. And you have to put the energy into it first. I mean, also just having a bath with nice bubbles or bath salts, like that's one of my things. If like the sky is falling down and I can like lay in the bath for an hour reading a book, I will feel better. So even just that on its own, it's a relaxing, healing thing for me. But I make bath salts and I just get like regular salts. I don't know what they're called, just plain ones. And then I add in like little herbs or flowers and essential oils and kind of do a mix of those things. But then what I do is I will take the whole container of bath salts and I will do a bit of Reiki on it, basically just channeling Reiki energy, maybe for a particular purpose. Maybe I'll use a particular symbol or something for those of you that are Reiki 2 and above. I also, my hands, I've got like an imaginary tub of bath salts and my hands are going. I'll even write symbols or healing mantras and just drop them in to the salts so that it kind of charges it up. So there is a bit of work to do, but I don't do that when I'm in need of the healing. I do it when I'm all good. And then if I'm feeling a bit low energy and I can't go fun bird watching. There's some love for bird watching coming up in the comments, guys. For those of you that are watching the recording, then I've already done the work, so I can just run a bath and pour it in, and it's not just bath salts, it's all that healing that I've put in there, sealed up with the intention that it will be released when I use it. And then I can get in and I'm sort of in a Reiki bath. So that is one of the cheats that I do. I've also I like to make candles. I've made those and Reiki'd them while they're in their melted state and Reiki'd them. You can even do it just by buying candles and charging them up with the idea that it will release some healing into the space. You can make a healing incense, all that sort of stuff, if that's your kinds of thing. And it's something that has been charged before that you can then use. And the other thing that lots of people use, lots of Reiki people use this, is crystals. It's not really part of the Reiki system at all, but to have, neither is bath salts or beetle hunting, but, you know, I'm on board with all of these things. It's to take a crystal and charge it up with whatever healing energy, just good old-fashioned Reiki for the highest good, or you can use specific symbols. Or if you're going to do this for something that you know is coming up, like, or something that you know you struggle with. So, for example, if you have a tendency to become overwhelmed or stressed, or lean into like low energy or depression or anything like that, you can charge up a crystal or a piece of jewelry or any kind of totem object, really, and fill it up with the energy to heal that particular thing. So for the highest good, to relieve when I am stressed. And the key is that we do this when we're not stressed, right? And you put it in there and just kind of seal it over with your intention. You don't have to do anything fancy. You don't need to like study crystal healing or anything. It's all in our intention with Reiki. So just really fill it up with that. And then, of course, once you have need of it, it's there waiting for you and you can pick it up and hold on to it. It's a nice thing for us to do for other people as well. But for now, we're talking about ourselves. So you can just hold on to it and know that that healing work's been done, so you can receive it after the fact, have it there as like a sort of Reiki first aid kind of deal. And when we were talking before we set the recording up, Zoe was saying that there's that she works with crystal grids. So if you charge up several crystals in this way, you can just put the crystals down and lay in the grid. I'm a believer in this. And then you are surrounded by it and can receive whatever restorative healing is available to you. So that's one of the ways we can kind of simplify things, is to do the work when we don't need it, to set it aside. It's a really nice thing for us to do. And we're going to do a bit of something similar to that at the end of this little workshop. And it's just so useful for those moments where we feel that we don't have that in us. Maybe we're too tired, maybe we're overwhelmed, maybe something's happened and there's a lot of emotion there that stops us from being a particularly clear channel. That's not a failure, that's just being a human. But if you've got some sort of first aid stuff, some cheats there waiting for you, then you can use those things and they are so useful. Another way that we can simplify things is by doing the work. So you'll need to judge where you're at, guys. Obviously, the self-healing that you guys do when all things are going well and you're doing your general kind of maintenance, that's stuff that you can just do when things are going well. Maybe you've got a meditation that you listen to. Maybe you've got a hand position that really works for you. Maybe you've got like a mantra that you listen to as you do it or whatever. Those things are really great. They can help you get in the zone. One that I listen to has got a very particular like gong close to the beginning of it. And when that kicks in, it's like a Pavlovian response or something. I'm like, I'm healing now. And it really helps. And same with mantras or a piece of music that is soothing to you or whatever. When you put that on, you know that you're in that mode where you're going to sort of drop tension from your body and receive a bit of healing. But those things, as I've said, they work really well when we're okay. Sometimes it doesn't feel available to us. So what I would like us to do is look at ways that we can take a self-healing practice and just make it a little bit simpler, because maybe you feel like you don't have masses of focus, but you could have enough to just turn on a little bit. And we're going to look at some more first aid, setting up and advanced stuff after this. So I'm not saying this is something you have to do. I don't believe that when you really don't feel up to it, like just force yourself to do it. I don't think that's helpful. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it just isn't. But in some occasions, this really might help just to simplify it enough. If you have your Reiki 2 or above, you may have come to the frequency scale, frequency setting exercise, Reiki Skills Lodge. I won't go into it here because it does use symbols, and I want to keep this one suitable for Reiki 1s. But if you are on the call or watching this and you want the link to that, send me a message. And I will send you the link to that, because this is sort of a bit inspired by that. But it's one of the ways that we can simplify it, rather than having to focus on particular hand positions or focusing for a certain amount of time. All we need to do is connect into Reiki and then basically set a request. This is a good cheat, my friends, setting a request. I'm going to give you some examples, and then we're going to play around with it as a practical exercise. So if you are a Reiki 2 or above, one of my cheating ways to do this is to draw the symbol in my mind. I don't physically draw it, although I'm not against that if you are artistically inclined. That I will imagine the symbol that I'm working with underneath my body, like I'm sat on it, like a healing cushion, and just intend that brings me everything that I need, and it just gives me a boost. So that's very, very little focus. If you are Reiki 2 or Reiki Master, you already know these things. So you can just sit down. If it's too much to even feel like you're channeling Reiki deliberately, just visualize the symbol underneath you, plonk yourself down in the middle of it, and just say, yes, I'm ready to receive this. The symbols themselves get so much use in the world of Reiki that they've kind of got energy and power of their own. But also, if you know them well and you use them well, just the act of using it, the act of drawing it, will release it, because you've already done the work. In all your practice, you've already done it. So that's available to you. So that's one of my little cheating things that I do, little simplifying things that I do. But the other is to simplify it without using any symbols or anything, to just connect in with Reiki and then state what I need and just ask for it. There's 2 ways of doing this. We're going to play around with both. One way is to just scan in your body. This is a really good one for if you're feeling low and you can't shift yourself out of that mode, and you're like, I don't know what I need. I don't feel able to focus on what I need. I don't know how to get out of this rut, or how to give myself enough energy to do the thing that's coming, whatever it is. You can say to yourself, what does my body need? And just scan through your body with your attention and see what part of you will feel it. You're all healers. So that intuition is in your body already. You can trust that. And then when you find where you want that to be sent, then you just imagine, just intend. Reiki follows our intention, that's where the Reiki flows to. No hand positions, no cunning channeling. Just focus your attention on it and send the energy. We know that we don't need to be massively involved with the directing of the energy sometimes. it helps us to put our hands on ourselves or put our hands on people, or, you know, all this like little setup and the ritual of it that we've created for ourselves over the years. I've got a lot of time for that because it helps us focus. But actually, sometimes you can just say, oh, where does it need to go? Okay, send it there. And just trust to the source and trust to all the work that you've done over all your time on the Reiki path. All of that has put you, you're already a channel. So you can ask, where in my body is it needed? And just ask for it to go there. And that does work. That simple bit of, you can do a Reiki session on someone else without even looking at them, without imagining anything, just sending it with your intention. That is available and simple for yourself. Another way, which is a slight variation on this, is to take the thing that's going on with you, overwhelm or stress. Those were the things that were referenced a lot in the feedback forms that I got. But whatever it is you need, if you're dealing with grief, or if you've got an illness, or if you don't have enough energy, just tune into source and say, let me receive the healing energy that I need for that. And then just imagine it coming in, and then just relax into the flow of that. It doesn't need to be something that you spend loads of time visualizing or being really considered about. You can just state that intention while you're connected to source and just let it happen. Another even simpler way of doing that, and this I admit I have done in the sort of dark night of the soul kind of times that we all have sometimes, is I've just gone, please give me healing. Just like, please, just ask source, what is the thing that I need here? And just don't even explain it to me. Give me the healing that I need. It's all tied in with the highest good. And I'm getting hearts on the screen here, guys, so you know that I know that we've all had moments like this, where we don't know what to ask for, we don't know where on the body, we perhaps don't feel up to doing a full self-treatment or even a simple meditation. Sometimes I haven't even put music on for that, although I am a believer in having music on for this. I just go, just give me the healing that I need, and then just let it come in. And even I have gone to sleep during that. And I do feel that if we go to sleep, that it kind of continues on while we're sleeping. Just trust that it's going to give our body and our energy what we need. What I will say for all of those little techniques, whether you're asking for where in the body and then just send it to that place, or whether you're asking for the exact energy you need and then channeling that, or whether you're just giving over to source entirely, afterwards, when you wake up or when you get up, make sure that you do something that is grounding, because we are not channeling the Reiki in as direct or controlled a way as we normally are. It could be easy to get a little bit spinny, a little bit lightheaded from this. So at the end of it, you will feel better for having received it anyway. So take a moment, even if it's just feeling into your tanden, that place just behind and beneath the belly button, just to focus your attention there. Or just, you know, feel yourself, rub or shake the hands, you know, the kenyoku, the dry bathing. Do something that like grounds yourself in your body. Feel your feet on the ground, drink some water, eat something, those sorts of things. Is when we simplify it to this extent, because we're not controlling it in the same way. It doesn't always happen, but it's possible that you might get a little bit, feel a bit ungrounded afterwards. So just make sure you know, drink some water or some hot tea or something, ground yourself, shake it out, be back in your body afterwards, or when you wake up. Either of those is acceptable. Hope that all makes sense. I'm going to talk us through a little example where you can get some healing for that. Just a short one, just to kind of give you a sense of what it feels like. I'm going to put a little bit of music on, bring us into the zone, our little Reiki zone. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to get you guys to just sit up for the time being. Again, if you're in a dark night of the soul moment, you are absolutely fine to be lying down in whatever state. But for this one, for this little exercise, we're going to stay sat up, take a moment to connect in with Reiki. And you can connect in just in prayer position or raising your hands, palms upwards to the sky. Feel your connection with Source. And although we're really going to simplify the way we work with the energy here, know that the reason it works is because you've already done so much work. It's because your body knows how to channel Reiki. It's because you know Source energy and Source energy knows you. So feel that connection from Source energy above, flowing into your crown, into your tanden, into your hara, just behind and beneath the belly button. And ask yourself, where in my body do I need Reiki? Where in my body do I need healing right now? Let your attention be drawn. Maybe you'll feel a twinge, maybe your attention will just be drawn there. Let yourself be guided to where in your body needs Reiki. And then intend that that's where the Reiki flows. And you might use a hand or a simple, quick visualization to get it flowing. And then you can just relax. Relaxing your breath, letting tension be released from your body, from your shoulders, from your jawline. Trust that the energy is flowing to the place in your body that needs it the most. And then recentering yourself for a moment. And we'll try a variation on this. Remember that the Reiki frequency is a spectrum. It contains some more earthy energies and some very ethereal, very subtle layers. You're connected to the whole of the Reiki source. So just simply let the energy flow down from above and ask Source to give you the exact frequency of Reiki that you need. Let that flow of Source from above be filtered in line with that request. No need for symbols or mantras. Just ask for the exact frequency you need. You might feel that it's a more physical energy. Maybe your body needs something. It might feel light, perhaps in those more subtle realms, something mental or emotional. You might not be aware exactly. Just a certain colour, a certain light, a certain temperature shift. Let that flow of the perfect energy for you flood into your body. No need to direct, no need to control. Trust that what you've asked for will be received. Just a few more moments of this. Trusting the source, trusting the energy flow, taking in what you need. And then just allow that flow of Reiki to slow and stop. Bring yourself back into normal awareness, into prayer position if you like, or just feel really grounded. Know you're no longer actively channeling the Reiki source. Bringing yourself back into your normal awareness. Simplified self-healing. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up. Good to see those when you guys are not on camera. It's good to see. It's a really simple way of doing it. Just where in the body then? Just let that happen. And then just even let go of it at that point. You can just relax at that point. The intention's already been set. You can trust that it will go where it needs to. Let it be the exact one that I need. It's similar to the frequency setting, which is based around symbols, but it's even more simple than that. Just give me what I need. And as I say, if times are really dark, you can just lie down and be like, Source, give me the healing I need, and let that be the only thing you say. It's not unrealistic or overly simplistic for us to expect the energy to work in this way, because the reason it can work in this way for us is because a lot of the time we're doing our Hatsue or our other meditations, we're doing our self-treatments, maybe we're doing treatments on other people. Some of us are teaching people all the time, doing loads of empowerments on people. There's all these different things that we're doing, and it means we're already trained internally. We're already connected. That connection might feel like it's not as strong when we are struggling with something, but it's not actually true. That is there for us as a resource to lean into when we need to do it, when we don't feel strong enough to do it for ourselves. We've earned that to a certain extent, and it's not quite the right wording. I don't mean like Source owes you. I mean, you've earned the right to ask, and for that ask to be answered, because you've already done the work. Some of us have been doing the work for years. Some of us have been doing the work for decades. It is okay to sometimes say, I don't have the focus or the skill or the direction in the right now. Please give me what I need. So simplify as much as you need to. Just remember to ground yourself afterwards when you come back into the world. That is something that is available to all of us that are on the path. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. We're going to spend the last bit of the session setting up a little bit of Reiki first aid for ourselves. Now, as I said, you can get all crafty with this and make yourself bath salts, or one of my other favorite ones is hand cream. I buy like a base cream because I don't know how you would make that. But just like a plain unscented one. I do exactly like I did with the bath salts, and I put in my essential oils. I charge up a crystal, chuck that in the little jar. And then when I'm putting it on, I'm like receiving luxury healing that smells nice. You can have your crystals, you can have all those things set up. But it can be more simple than that. How we're going to set it up is as simple as possible. For those of you that have done the Reiki re-empowerment with me in the past, we do a version of this where we work as a group, but this one is just for you. This is an individual one. What we're going to do is imagine a sphere, a ball, a bubble, and we're going to fill that bubble up with Reiki energy today. Now that bubble is for you, so it doesn't need to be massive. It can be if you're feeling ambitious today. It will grow to the size that you need it for. What I want to do is take this moment to draw on a moment of strength to set up a healing for yourself that your future self will be able to ask for. So just a boost of healing, or if I'm going to leave this up to your choice, guys, it might just be Reiki that you set up in there for the highest good, and you just pour Reiki source energy in there. But it might be, like I said earlier, that you have something that has a tendency to crop up sometimes, or that there's a life event or something that is going to cause you anxiety or tiredness or overwhelm or emotion or whatever. So if you want to be specific for the type of healing that you need, that you know you're going to need to ask for later, if that feels right for you, you can do that. But you can just be like Reiki, and that will work. Even if you're not feeling particularly mighty today, guys, know that whether you're in the live here with us or whether you are watching this on the recording, you're held in that safe bubble that I've set up for us here, and that I am going to be drumming to add Reiki and energy into your healing bubble. So there's going to be extra support for you in this healing setup. And then it's something you just file away on the astral. If you have an astral landscape or an astral, like a meditation landscape or astral temple that you use, great. But you can just give it to source. You don't need to have a place in mind where you store it. You can just give it to source or to a spirit guide if that's the way you work. It's all about your own personal practice. Trust that it's set aside for you and that that's going to be a really strong healing for when you need it. When you ask for it, you can just receive it into your body. And you can feel it when you use this. You can feel colors and heat and all of that lovely stuff coming in. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this makes sense. I'm going to talk us through it the whole way. Yes, to the thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I'm going to talk us through it, and I'm going to be doing some Reiki drumming, intending that the extra Reiki that's being channeled through the drum is going to help to empower every Reiki bubble, every little Reiki orb that gets made in the course of people watching this workshop for however long. So that will not just be what you're putting in there, I will be adding in for you, my friends. So it's very simple. You're going to take a moment to connect back in with Reiki. Again, you're probably going to be sitting up for this or standing rather than lying down. Feel that strong connection from the Reiki source above you, feeling it connecting down into your tanden, into your hara, your dantian. Just beneath and behind the belly button, this is your center of gravity. We are setting up this self-healing for our future self from this position of strength and connectedness. And then I would like you to visualize a bubble, a sphere, a Reiki ball. You might want to use your physical hands for this, or you might just want to visualize it in front of you and direct the energy out with your intention or with your hands in an open position on your lap. If you are someone who does sound healing of any kind and you want to add into this or replenish it later, you can absolutely bring that into the equation as well. Visualize that ball, that bubble, and be deliberate. Pull Reiki energy down through your crown from source and send Reiki out with your intention through your hands, flooding that energy for your healing intention, a specific goal or your highest healing good. See that Reiki flooding out of you and into your own personal Reiki bubble. Set your intention that this is going to remain within the bubble until you ask for it to be received into your body. Keep that Reiki flowing from source through your body, out through your hands into the bubble. mind's eye or with your intention, know that this bubble is sealed. See it as very strongly sealed over. All that Reiki healing energy that you've just raised for your future self, strongly and carefully held inside the bubble. You might want to visualize or even move your hands to seal it over with your intention, in the same way you might do for a client at the end of a session when you seal over the energy body. And with your intention, you're just going to put that bubble aside. Perhaps you place it in a meditation space that you go to in your mind. Perhaps you hand it to a spirit guide. Perhaps you just trust to Source to keep it for you. Let that Reiki bubble go. Know that the healing you've raised here has been very focused. It's come from a place of strength. It's come from a place of knowing that your future self might need that strength, that focus. And now you can just release your attachment to it. Know that Source will keep it for you, or it will be safe in that little astral location that you've chosen, or your guide has it. Know that at some point in the future, you might have need of that healing. And you'll know that you've already done the work and you can simply ask. And that is when it will be released into your body and into your space as needed. For now, come back into prayer position. Focus your attention on your Tanden. Feel yourself there in the center of gravity in your body. Know that you are no longer actively channeling Reiki. Breathe yourself back into your body, into your normal awareness, finishing with Kenyoku or by rubbing and shaking the hands. And there we are, my friends. A little bit of focused self-healing set up by you when you were in the zone for you to receive in the future simply by asking for it when you are decidedly less in the zone and you just need something that's already been done. I call it a cheat, but it's not really, it's the work. It's doing the work beforehand and having that little Reiki first aid kit there available for you. You can add to that whenever you're feeling good and strong. As I say, you can add in, if you play singing bowls or tuning forks or drums or any of that stuff, it doesn't have to be Reiki only. I believe in multidisciplinary stuff. So please add in anything that you think will feel good for you later. And as I said, you can store this stuff in actual objects like crystals. if that's your bag. I like an astral bubble. I think it works perfectly well. But if you have a different visualization that works for you, or you want a physical anchor to that, then just play around with it and experiment. I know it's not, traditional Azui Reiki to do it this way, but there aren't really any rules. The rule really is that you're using source energy and you're working for the highest good. That's it. That's the only rule, really. So whenever you need that in the future, you can just call in and ask for it, because you've already done your work and your setup. And like I say, you can simplify, draw symbols underneath you with your mind's eye. Ask for where in the body is it, and just intend that it goes there. Ask which frequency do I need, and intend that that's what comes in. There are lots of ways to simplify this, and make sure that self-healing is available to us when we really need it, even if we don't feel up to unusual practice. And that's it, taking us right up to the last minute nearly. Any questions or sharings or anything before I close down? Just a reminder, guys, I'm going to be sending out the recording to everybody, and this one is a Reiki one, so it will be available, will be viewable on my playlist. But there will be other things that I've referred to, like the frequency setting and the self practice routine, the self practice, sort of building a sustainable self practice. If you are watching this after the fact and you want access to those things, give me a shout and I will send it to you. And if you have any questions that come up after watching the recording, you can get in touch and ask me those questions too. But that's it for our little session. Thank you, everyone. I'm enjoying your very generous use of floating emojis that's going on here in the Zoom room. And thank you, guys. Talking to you before we recorded, you're such a happy group. Obviously, all nature lovers as well in here. I love that. Nice to see that joyfulness in the community tonight. Thank you for being here in the live, and thank you to all of you who are watching the recording. It's been a pleasure. I hope these things has been useful. Make sure you take in all the healing that you need when you need it. Give me a shout if anything comes up afterwards. Thank you, my lovelies. I'll let you go. Thank you.